Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of 3 bougie vintage, and today's video is the long-awaited DIY corset top Beyonce edition. So I am going to be taking my Beyonce merch, my t-shirt, and I will be turning it into a corset. It will be lined, it will be boned, and I'm going to show you how to do it. If you don't want to turn it into an actual corset, you can just actually turn it into a tube top. That's between you and Beyonce, okay? So I am going to be taking a t-shirt that is XXL and chopping it up, girl, and turning it into a very cute piece. You will need a few things, and I will show you what those things are throughout the video. Let's get into this corset. So I will be turning this Beyonce shirt into a corset. I have made a few corsets, and I'm actually going to be using a pattern I've already drafted for another corset, which is this one. This corset has princess seams. I didn't make my straps long enough, so I had to jimmy it with some elastics, which is totally fine. But yeah, this is the back of the corset. So essentially there is panel 1, panel 2, and I hand painted those flowers on there. Panel 3, the center panel, of course. Panel 4, the other princess panel, and panel 5, the 5th panel. So I'm pretty much going to be using the pattern that I have already drafted for this corset. I obviously want Beyonce to be my focal point, so I have to keep that in mind when I am cutting out my pattern. The easiest way to go about executing this is to cut the shirt apart. So I want this piece, I want the back piece. I'm gonna take the sleeves off of it, and we're gonna start from there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is deconstruct the shirt. Okay, so at this point, can I zoom up further? Oh, there we go. At this point, don't mind the stuff in the back. That's my other stuff that I need. At this point, I have now 4 pieces of fabric to work with. I have the 2 sleeves, and then I have the front of the t-shirt and the back of the t-shirt. The front of the t-shirt is obviously our focal point. I'm gonna figure out how to incorporate the I'm That Girl part into the design. It might make it in, it might not. I don't freaking know. I could just turn this into a completely different corset or use that to make a tube top or something. I don't freaking know. We're just focusing on Honeybee, okay? And I'm going to get my pattern pieces, and we need to cut our pattern pieces on the fold because the center panel goes on the fold, and then the other pieces are not on the fold. So as you see, I've chosen a different corset than the one I originally showed you. I made this one as well, unfinished, because I'm so bad at starting stuff and not finishing it because I get busy doing other stuff. Like I had merch orders to fill, and like this was for another video that I was doing, which you'll probably still see. I've pinned this corset down pretty much. I'm going to give myself 1-inch seam allowance around the parts that I need, and then I'm gonna cut it out. Then I'm going to cut another piece that is exactly the same as the Beyonce shirt because I need it to be lined, right? So I'm gonna do like the lining, and then I'm gonna show you guys the back pieces. And I don't know if you guys can see the white lines to show the 1-inch seam, but they're there. Okay, so now that we have our basic shape of the front panel, I can actually cut it off right here on this side and then right there on that side, because that's where the front of the corset actually stops. That's where my side seam is. So I'm gonna cut this off, and then I am going to interface this piece, the Beyonce piece, as well as cut out a lining in the exact same shape. That's my Beyonce piece, and I have it inverted or flipped over onto a pair of pants. I cut the pant leg off of something just so I'm upcycling and not, you know, wasting too much new material. I took an old pair of jeans and that I got from the thrift store and cut the leg off so that I can have lining for the inside of my shirt. Plus, it'll be interfaced as well. So now I'm pretty much just going to trace around the t-shirt to cut out the exact same shape that the black fabric is. It already has the seam allowance because this piece was cut with the seam allowance. So we just go like this. I actually struggled with what I was gonna put behind this because I thought I was gonna do a different fabric, but then I liked the denim with the blue around Beyonce on the front of the shirt, so that's why I went with this. Okay, so far, this is what we have. Now we just need to create 2 side panels that will lace up in the back and interface it, and we can put it together. I have to film another video, so I'm gonna put this down for now, and hopefully I'll be back to it later tonight. Okay, so this part, I had no idea my mic was off. So pretty much I'm taking 2 thrifted sleeves from a flannel shirt, and I'm gonna create my side panels. I don't know where the paper pattern is, but I made the paper pattern a long time ago and I couldn't find it. So I'm just pretty much working from scratch here. You don't need much engineering to make the side panels. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm just deconstructing the sleeves, opening them up. I'm gonna lay them flat on top of each other so I can get the exact same shape on both sides. Now I'm taking my ruler and measuring the sides of both the Beyonce piece and the lining to make sure that I cut the same size for the side panels. There's no point in not measuring. Do not cut corners. So I'm just evening out my pattern piece here, as you can see, because it was a little janky. So that's why you should always work with an actual pattern and, you know, not bum a pattern. But bumming patterns is top tier because, like, you know, you don't have to do all the engineering stuff. So I don't mind a good bum, okay? Especially when it's my own design. But yeah, so I'm lining up the sleeves. I'm marking it with my chalk and also using the lines on the plaid as a grid so that when I go to cut, my lines are straight and it works out perfectly fine. You're obviously going to keep in mind your seam allowance. And that's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you're not a seamstress or don't know anything about this tutorial is really not a beginner-friendly tutorial because why would a beginner be trying to make a corset? I don't know. But if you are interested in like actually seeing how to make patterns and stuff, let me know because I can teach you. But it's not easy, and if you're not into math, you're not gonna like it. I'm not into math, but I love fashion, so I don't mind doing that bit of it, but it is very complicated. But once you get like the basics of pattern drafting, you're pretty much smooth sailing, and everything else is science. Like, it's just figuring it out. So yeah, I'm marking out the pattern piece now, or the side panels, and I'm just using my ruler to gauge how I want the angle of the back to go. As you see, I'm struggling here trying to decide, and excuse the ash on my legs. Like, this is a mess. But yeah, I'll be done soon. I'm gonna cut it out, and then I'm also going to pin these pieces or a piece onto the denim to be able to line the side panels as well. When you're making a corset, you want it to be sturdy, so you want to make sure you're lining it. You want to make sure you're putting your bone in and all that good stuff.
Tell me something, 'cause I don't know how this gonna end. Oh no, 'cause I don't wanna be just friends. No, no. Yeah. Hear me out, like I make you do the craziest things. Yeah. I didn't mean to hurt you, babe. Oh no. If you decide to leave, you will help me anyway. Maybe I am too naive, but I'm choosing to believe that you will give me another chance. Oh, so tell me now, can we find love? Can we go back to where we were? All I want is to love you, start all over. Tell me now, yeah, yeah. Don't leave, wait a minute. Let me make up for the wrongs I did. I'm just a human, I admit it. What will it take for you to forgive me? Forgive me. If you decide to leave, you would help me anyway. Maybe I am too naive, but I'm choosing to believe.
And I just realized I'm gonna have to do a freaking voiceover because I forgot to turn the damn mic on. This is interfacing, okay? This is like this fusible thing that you can add to any fabric really to prevent the fabric from moving and stretching. So this way, if I pull it this way, there's no stretch. If I pull it this way, there is stretch. So when I fuse it onto the back side of Beyonce, I'm gonna make sure I'm fusing it down with this direction so that she can't move. I'm using a scrap piece because this is a project that I want to, you know, be conservative with. So I'm using a scrap piece of interfacing. And so pretty much all I'm gonna do is turn her this way. And there's two sides to the interfacing. There's the rough side that has the glue on it, and then there's the smooth side. I'm gonna lay it down on here, and interfacing is cool because you can literally cut off this piece that's hanging down here and stick it wherever you need it, right? And then you just press your iron onto it, and it will make this fabric stiff. Then I will be able to construct the garment by piecing together all the front panels, all the back panels, and then making it whole. So that's the next step. We're gonna interface it. I'm gonna do that off camera and then come back and show you guys. Now, as much as I love to sew, all the tedious parts are the beginning. So drafting the pattern, which thankfully I had an old corset that I drafted a pattern for that I could work off of. It's always nice to bum a pattern because, you know, cuts the time down. But I like to sew it. I like to put it together. I like the end result. My mom was always getting on me about, you're always trying to skip the, what do you always say to me, Mom? About me trying to like cut corners when I'm sewing.
It's not gonna work, you gotta do it twice.
No, you always say that I'm always trying to,
Rush it.
whatever. The point is that she claims that I tried to rush it, which I definitely do. I'm very bad for that because I am so eager to see the end result. So as much as I love to draft the pattern and draw it out and see the design, I like to actually get to the final thing where I get to wear the garment, okay? Mom says I like instant gratification. Yeah, I do. So I'm happy that all of my pieces are cut out and we can get to the exciting part. Like, I don't want to be in here all day. Like, this already has taken me 3 days, but I'm doing 10 different videos at once. So that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is all the pieces are cut out. So now all we have to do is literally sew it together. So I'm super excited about that. I have to run some errands. So I will be back to finish this a little bit later. Maybe while I'm gone, Mom can interface Beyonce for me. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in so you can see the pans, girl. Okay, you see those little yellow dots? So we have our corset here, or the making of our corset. And the side panels are pinned, okay? And as you see, they don't meet all the way back because they're gonna be laced up. So we're gonna, you know, there's gonna be some space back there. But we have the side panels pinned, ready to sew. So I have a 1-inch seam allowance, so I'm gonna sew a 1 inch on here, 1 inch on there. As you see, we interfaced it. Let me put that closer so you can see the shiny material. And our lining as well has been pinned and is ready to sew. So I'm going to do my 1 inch seam allowance here, over there. And then once they're both sewn, we're going to do our 1 inch seam allowance. We're going to put them face to face. So Beyonce's face will be kissing with this face. And we're going to sew the top. Okay. So all around the top. So I'll probably come back and show you guys the top pinned together with the two pieces of fabric pinned together. But we gotta leave the bottom open for our what's it called, boning. Okay, if you don't want to put boning in it and you just want a tube top, then you don't need that part, but I'm gonna come back and show you guys. So now we have sewn our panels together. If I was making this reversible, I would have cut this the other way and made this the right side instead of the wrong side, but it's not reversible, so I didn't care. And it was also an afterthought. Now that they are like this, we need to put wrong sides together, or right sides together, actually, sorry. Oh my God. We need to put right sides together. So Beyonce, you need to iron. So like I need to flatten this. So I'm gonna iron this before I actually stitch it together, but I need this to be super flat where the seam is. And then once I do that, I will marry the two pieces like this. I'll pin it along the top. Okay. Make sure that my seams are aligned. So this seam should be aligned with this seam, and pretty much that is exactly what's happening, which means I did good engineering and made it proper. So now I'm just gonna go and iron them, flatten my seams on this side, and I'll probably cut out the seams on this side because you don't want too much bulk when you're sewing. So I'll probably cut out the seams on this piece and flatten the seams on the denim. Then pin the top, sew the top, and then we can work on putting the lines in for the actual boning. I'm so excited because it's almost ready to go, girl. Okay, so here you can see it's pinned all along the top. I actually already sewed it, but I forgot to show you guys. Already, I know I'm probably going to have to add some darts at the top because of the shape of the corset. I'm gonna flip it over and see exactly what I'm working with. I'm gonna cut the excess out and see if I am gonna have to add a dart. And if I do have to add a dart, it's gonna be annoying to do, and this is my own fault. Okay, so I've added some fake darts. This is not typically how you would add a dart, but because I am me and I have problems, I've added some form of a dart in there to aid with the boobie area. I needed to take in some of the top to fit my boobs properly, so I did a fitting, and I'm taking off about an inch on each side. Okay, I'm going to flat stitch those darts. I'm going to flip it over so you can see. Here, zoomed in so you can see where the two pins are, and I actually love the way it actually makes the corset look. It gives it a very unique look at the front there. So pretty much where these darts are, I'm going to flat stitch on top because the thread that I have underneath is actually orange. So I'm gonna flat stitch here so that the black will show, so that it will be black. And I'm gonna taper it because remember, I still need to put my bone in. I'm gonna leave the tacks in, so I'm gonna leave it pinned like that. I'm gonna put my bone lines down, and then I'm going to tack that closed. I think that would be the best course of action. I mean, I'm not really sure. See, I just be going with the flow, and that's what my mom would be trying to get on me about. The other thing, before I continue, is I need to finish the edges. So this end should be closed off because this is where my holes are gonna go to lace it up. Turn it over like this and do a straight stitch, and then flip it back to this side, tuck it in, and work on my lines for my corset bone. I'm actually thinking it may be wiser to finish it off. I'm not gonna put any lines on Beyonce. I've never done this before where I'm building a corset into it, but I don't want to put any lines on Beyonce because typically I would end up having to do vertical lines, and it'll go into her face. So what I'm thinking is that instead of doing that, I will build the corset into just the denim piece. Okay, so there will be boning, but I'm gonna have to put the boning on this side, which means I need a third layer. This is crazy. Let me see, hold on. Let me think for a second. If I can add a sandwich piece. I'm over here working. I was asking you what you were trying to say when you said I can't say that, but I got the gist of it. Shots fired, fired in the foot, a mess. Anyway, let me explain to the people what I'm doing. So, what I'm going to do, and call me crazy, but I'm gonna put another piece of fabric in here and build the corset against this so that I don't have to put lines on Beyonce's pretty old face, okay? That's the only way I can do it, but so far so good. You wanna see it, Jalen? Their merch center could never. Oh. Wow, you guys are seeing magic in the making. Let's see, I hope this turns out amazing. Okay, so the fun part is here. We are almost done. I finished the edges, of course, and I'm gonna zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see those blue lines, but there's some blue lines, and that's pretty much where my bone is gonna go. So we're building the corset into the top to not disrupt Honeybee, okay? So there will be a bone here. There will be a bone here. There will be a bone right here. So that's 3 so far. There will be a bone here. And there will be a bone right here. You can add as many bones as you'd like to your corset, but those are the bones that I'm gonna add. And typically you probably would want one right here as well, like right on the, where the side seam is. I didn't design for one to go there, so I'm hoping I'll be okay. If push comes to shove, I'm gonna have to sneak one in. But I really just don't feel like, because I'm building it into the corset versus, you know, making the line, like making this and this the sandwich, because that's usually what I would do, put the bones in this sandwich. But now I have to take some scrap denim like this, and I can do it one of two ways. I can either do it on this piece, like outside here, to not, you know, disrupt it, or I can create the pockets, because this is still open, right on here, and then just feed the bone in between the tubes, so it would hold in there like that. I'm gonna give the bottom probably a 1 inch seam as well, so when I cut my metal, I'm gonna cut it shorter so that when I'm finishing my edge, I don't have any issues with my sewing machine, because your sewing machine needle will break if you try to go over this metal boning. These lines are here. I'm gonna create the pockets and get the bone shoved up in there, okay? Okay, I'm so excited. So pretty much what you're seeing right here is the built-in corset. So if I flip this, you see that there's just some jean scraps that I have turned into strips, and I am now going to sew alongside the blue lines to create the pocket for the boning to go into. We're gonna close up the darts that I did on the front. Okay. We're gonna sew these up, but we're only going to sew them to probably about halfway. And these are kind of like tuck darts, but not really. So we're gonna sew them halfway, and that will be wherever my bust point is, which I have no idea. So up, we're gonna guess. We're gonna do the dart short and then see, and then we're gonna do top stitching. Cut the excess out of here, close the bottom off, and we are done. And then we're gonna put obviously our holes in here to lace it up. First of all, girl, yes. Mother knows you're gagging right now. Get you a close up. Okay. So everything is sewn down. Here's what the back side is looking like. Okay, so you can see my lines for the bone to go in. And of course, on this side, of course, we're gonna have to cut the excess off. So because we built in the corset, which I have never done before, so this is really exciting. So there's one. Oh, you know what? I need to do a stay stitch up here. So, but I'm just showing you this, okay? Good old sandwich. 3, 4, okay. So pretty much I'm going to actually go and do a top stitch. Oh my god, this is weighted, baby. I'm gonna do a top stitch to finish the top off, and that stitch, there's gonna be a stitch going upside here, and that stitch, what it's gonna do is give the boning a stopping point. I have no idea how I intend to finish the bottom, so I could do it a couple ways. I can use my scrap fabric such as this and create a bias and finish. Girl, I can finish it off with the plaid, but I don't think I like that. I think I want to finish it with black on the bottom, so I'm gonna see what bias tape I have. I didn't even end up using any of this, so I could use this t-shirt fabric to finish the bottom off. That might be a good move. We don't know yet. But yeah, she came together really nicely. And I'm actually so impressed with the built-in corset aspect, because even though it was pretty much a hiccup since I didn't think about it ahead of time, if I had thought about it ahead of time, I would have sewn these, I would have done all this work prior to sandwiching my pieces together. But it was an afterthought, and that's okay because it still turned out great. I've never built in a corset before, so I'm really, really, really proud of this project, even though it's not done yet. So I'm gonna go show my mom. I think at this point, I'm probably just gonna finish it and show you guys the end result. Baby, she is obsessed, okay? I am obsessed. So as you see, I finished off. I put my eyelets in, okay? Put my eyelets in. Uh-oh, is this one popping out? Girl, the ghetto. I didn't do a good job with this eyelet. Sometimes if you have cheaper eyelets, you know, it can be problematic for ya. This was problematic for me. So I'm gonna have to replace that eyelet, but pretend like that didn't happen just now, okay? So this is the Beyonce corset, and I was gonna leave the bottom like this, kind of like distressed, because I feel like it adds to the look for sure. But instead, I will be adding a bead trim to it. Some of you are going to be like, no, Bo, I liked it before. I liked it without the bead trim. But baby, you ain't the one wearing it. So this is just going to be an easy add. So that is what the finished product is going to look like. I am going to put on a new eyelet. That's it for this corset. I'm absolutely happy with it. I love it. Oh baby, I was going to call you.
Wait a minute.
Girl.
Oh my God.
What? Hurry up.
Yo. Hey, Michelle just dropped her tour. Dates. Why the fuck does she have a show in Memphis? She's never had a show in Memphis.
I told you.
10 years.
I manifested it out.
I'm behind the building. I'm on Ticketmaster now from the pre-sale link. Oh my God.
Okay, so
Ooh, that is
nice, right? Yeah. So, Jalen, I finished the corset. Praise Jesus.
You showing?
The oxtail is in the oven, so it looks like the oxtail video is going to be done by tonight, too. I'm doing my mom's hair in another video.
He don't want to talk to you? Why is he hiding?
My intro is fully 18.
I know. You can put it up whenever you're ready to put it up. The big reveal. The big reveal. I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my... Too sexy. It could actually be cinched way tighter, but I live for this corset, girl. Let me see something. This lighting is not right. Close up on the back. Modeling my corset. Anyway, guys, that is it for my corset video. That is it for my corset video. Ooh. Not knock the hat off, girl, please. I love you all so much. So much.